Hi.
Don't you hi us.
Hello, DM Dan.
Hello, Dan.
How are we?
We're alive.
Very good.
Why have
you-
you invited Anton to this session
You three are fine.
of
yeah.
his behaviour?
That's true. Yeah.
Hi. I am DM Dan, and you are the Explorers of Elsewhere, and you are my beautiful audience. Thank you for joining us on this somber occasion.
Yes.
Yeah, he left off a keyword with what's left of the
What's
Explorers
left of
of
the
Elsewhere.
Explorers.
We are missing two. Yes.
We
Yeah,
are.
sadly, in his commitment to realism, Dan has also killed Lane and Meg. So,
I mean,
There you go. That's
method
that's the
acting is best acting.
dedication.
Yes, we are missing a Meg and a Lane today, so this episode is decidedly boys' club. But off the back of the previous session, some stuff happened, some things went down. Tell you what, from ground zero itself, why don't you three fill me in on what happened last time?
Victor did nothing wrong.
Victor is sus. I call this meeting. I think Victor is sus, and I want to eject him from the spacecraft.
Okay.
Maybe the
There's a
imposter.
poster among us.
indeed, we were just having a nice time out in the woods. Atrak was all like, "Hey, I'm evil," and we were like, "Stop it!" And then he was like, "I've unleashed monsters." So we split the party, which is always a great idea.
Fantastic idea.
Yeah,
Now it's
Dave-
gone wrong.
yeah.
Victor and
Some
Addy
of
went
us
to the
ran
glade.
back to fight some monsters, and that was cool. I did a little bit of necromancy, which was a great time. Comstock
Light
absolutely
necromancy.
bodied Carla. Milia was devoured by demons.
Monsters.
She technically isn't dead, but I mean, we'll see. Meanwhile,
She may wish she was.
Anton, what were you doing in the meantime? Can you
Yes,
refresh
Anton.
my memory, please?
Victor promised Comstock that he would take care of Addy, and then proceeded
And
to
he
shoot
did.
her. And he did take care of her and shot her and Bear in the back, and revealed that he was working with Atrak all along.
I said take care of her, not take care of her.
You should have been more specific, Carl. Come
I
on.
listened to his action, Comstock. I did what you told me.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much wraps out, doesn't it? So Victor has revealed his naughty side, and everything just started kind of falling apart. But thanks to the combined efforts of Galina, Dume, and Franco, Eka Bhozdhir, at the very least, is safe.
And Comstock jumped through a portal.
Jump through a portal. So with that little recap, who would like to crack on with this session?
Well, the fact Anton's here, yes, because I'm feeling we may be able to show Victor what for.
Okay.
Yes, because but we'll find out why Anton's here after this title screen. The world has been broken and remade. Our civilizations are shattered, our people divided. Yet there are those who would rise up to bring a light to the all-encompassing darkness.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Sir Carmichael Comstock in Loravar Cavalier Fighter.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Frinka, a Wolfkin Scout Rogue.
Hi, I'm Lane. I'm playing Milia Ray Celeste, an Asavar Divine Soul Sorcerer.
My name's Tim, and I'm playing Galina, the Terran Sprite Alchemist Artificer.
And my name is Dan. I will be the Dungeon Master on this adventure. Whilst our world has been changed, we band together, hope bright in our hearts. We push forward to reclaim what was once ours, and we shall be known as the Explorers of Elsewhere. Saying goodbye to a friend is never easy, but not being able to say goodbye is often excruciatingly worse. Knowing that there are things you wish you might have said, things that are consigned to a chance now lost. The day hangs heavy with mixed emotion. Whilst many in Eka Bhozdhir celebrate their victory in the defence of their home, thanks to the explorers of New Prosper, there is one who grieves. Triadia is dead. Unbeknownst to the explorers, the group is now heavily fractured with the passing of the young keeper who wished to see a new world with curious eyes, as well as the reveal of Victor's duplicity. As Comstock looks out over a scene likely all too familiar to him, the truth of Victor's betrayal has mostly been lost along with Addy. One other also dances with death. Amelia finds herself plunging through an endless void of darkness, assailed by a tempting and insidious voice.
Hot dang. Spicy take.
So, we find Milia in a world of nothingness. And a distant voice calling her name. And as the voice becomes clearer and more distinct, she slowly opens her eyes to see the faces of Dume, Frinka, and a surprisingly large Galena looming over her. And as Milia kind of shakes her head and looks around, she looks up to the three of you and, what is happening? And she looks around a bit surprised. Galena, you, after having watched the tide of spectral ancestor warriors flood through the streets of Eka Bhozdhir,
Very Return of the King.
Very, very Return of the King. You and Dume spied the hulking form of Kigekna, the centaur Wolfkin chieftain, who appeared to be kind of running through the streets with a look of sheer kind of terror and horror upon her face. As Dume saw this, you saw him incant a spell which seemed to lift this this fear from his chieftain, only for her to report to you that Milia was in trouble. In following behind the centaur, you find Milia on her back, covered in cuts and lash marks and what appear to be kind of bite marks. When you approach her, she's unconscious. So, yeah, she is in a terrible way. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm probably, as I'm running up, I reckon my enlarge is just about running out. So like Mario when he takes a hit, I'm just going like. Let me check my spells. My spells of healing. No. I have no spell slots left. Ah, interesting. All right.
Problem.
All right.
Okay.
I'll just start. I'll pull out my healer's kit and start seeing if I can figure out some traditional old school medicine.
Well, as you do, Milia's eyes softly, gently open, and then she looks to you and, what is happening? Galena, you notice that a little bit beyond, you can see there's a group of kind of panicking villagers who are kind of surrounded by some Wolfkin defenders. Further down the street, you see that this kind of wall of spectral aggression is just kind of washing away, and like the creatures that were attacking Eka Bhozdhir are being butchered by these old wolfkin, and just sort of like pulls to bits as this war host floods through the village. But as you see the panicking villagers, as the defenders start kind of trying to calm them down, you hear like whispers and cries, and oh, they did it! Oh, they've summoned the. Well, they saved us. Did they save us? And you see some people kind of looking over in your direction, as Milia, like gingerly picks herself up. She looks to you for a moment and, where is everyone else? What is?
Okay. It's alright. Doomate got rid of all the creatures. I think Comstock's somewhere over the other side of the village.
She kind of looks a bit confused for a moment, but like kind of nods her head. She looks a bit woozy. She then turns to look to her right, up into the concerned face of Frinka. And Frinka, Anton,
Yes.
as you look down on Milia, what do you do?
Hello. You look like shit.
Milia just kind of, She looks around, and like suddenly it's like a memory strikes her, and she flinches, and she looks around, and the Tamari, where are the Tamari?
I think they're gone.
Did we see the Tamari?
You. So as
They
you
were
kind of
flying, right?
well, arguably this is the first time you've what did you know? I don't know if you did know. But
So Frinka, no, but I'm just saying they flew in, so maybe somebody would have seen them.
quite possibly.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, because Frinka wasn't there last time they turned up, and I was stuck to a tree.
Neither of you two have actually seen them.
So, I mean, I guess we've probably heard about them.
Okay.
Probably heard about them, but well, in which case, yeah, Galena, as you kind of wonder what Milia means, like you take a moment to look at the injuries across her body, and like they don't seem to have the same kind of savagery that some of the dead villagers and defenders around you have suffered. They seem to be a lot more kind of precise, a lot more clinical.
With some weird circular bite marks and stuff as well.
Yes, the bite marks certainly give it away.
Mm.
And it dawns on you in this moment that, yeah, Milia has been attacked by the Tamari that last you heard of were in the crystalline forest.
Can Frinka check if she still has her book?
As you kind of look, as you give Milia a look over, you notice that she's got her little backpack straps on. You notice that, and she's got the big massive mop of hair kind of that rests over the backpack normally. You know that she usually flicks her hair out to kind of cover it as best she can. But like one of the straps under her armpit is loose. And Milia notices you looking, and then like her eyes open in fear, and then she, no, and she sort of like it's desperately reaching behind her back and pulling her hair out the way. And there's a moment, Galena, where as Milia turns to try and look over her shoulder, you notice the straps over her back hold nothing. The chains are broken. The book is gone.
Hey, Emilia,
Okay.
you know that book you like so much? Don't worry about it. It's not a problem.
No,
That's
no.
It's probably
No.
not important, No, you get another one. We can go to the
It's-
library or something.
it's definitely important, but maybe a problem for later. Okay.
All color in what color there was in Milia's cheeks
Not much.
vanishes. She goes as white as her porcelain, like platinum blonde hair. And she, like, her eyes stop focusing on anything around her. You see her start to breathe shallowly, and you see her sort of like looking around warily, and they can't have taken it. It must, no, we've got this, the world, that's it, it's over, it's over.
Sorry.
Okay, just breathe.
She looks up to you, and you can see that, in her, like, she's panicking. But Kagekna kind of strides over and checks in on you. And like Dume takes a step away, looking at Milia, and he kind of makes he's got a pensive face on him, and then your darkness, it is gone. Perhaps it was not you that was tainted after all. It is not very often that I am wrong. But maybe I'm happy that I am wrong today. No. And Dume...
Oh, it was an evil book.
Dume nods no. I love evil books, he says. And then he kind of turns to speak to Kagekna, who's kind of gently heading over. And Milia, Galene, as you look back to Milia, like, she's just kind of pulled her knees up to her chest and she's holding them, and she, in this moment, you see your daughter in the corner of her bedroom on the eve of the attacks.
Yeah, I mean, it was already giving me those kind of vibes, to be honest.
And you hear Milia softly whispering to herself, I've doomed the world. I've doomed the world. We're all going to die.
You always were. You're still here, aren't you? Remember what I said? Sometimes we fuck up. And then we work and we fix it. You promised me you'd work to try and fix it.
Milia looks to you, and like her eyebrows are quivering, and it's like she's having difficulty kind of processing what you're saying. But yeah, Frinka, sorry, as you see Milia kind of going through these motions, and you see Galena trying to help, what do you... I say you can see all these villagers kind of beginning to gingerly kind of step out and kind of climb out their hiding places, and they're looking around like warily in case there are any more of these creatures. But you can see that like there's this sense of, there's this swelling in your chest of kind of awe as you see the last kind of few of these spectral guardians beginning to kind of dissipate and turn into like motes of light that just kind of drift and float around the camp like fireflies, even in this sort of like midday daylight. What do you do?
Frinka will go around the camp
Mm-hmm.
to try and make sure there's no more creatures. We'll try and locate Comstock.
Okay.
Gummy, where are you? Gummy.
As you start kind of doing a lap of the settlement, because you're on like the south edge at the moment, the southern quarter, if you will, is when you get round to the north, and you can, like, you're walking through groups of it's a mix of celebrating folk, like villagers, and grieving folk, those who are finding the bodies of loved ones and friends and family that have been lost in the attack. But when you get to the north of the settlement, you find a solitary figure stood in amongst a group of tents, and stood next to what appears to be a hole in the ground, and you recognize him as Megrakan. Some people have referred to him as the Pale Warrior, and he's covered, drenched in
He wins.
blood and ichor, and there's bits of you see that there's what appears to be like the end of a crystalline claw sticking out of one of his pecs. His war pick is shattered, like it's been swung with such force and violence that the head of it, like the spike of it, is cracked. Cracked off. You can see the beast that the tip is lodged in now, just over to the side. And Megrakan is just very kind of nonchalantly kicking, brushing dirt and rocks and rubble with his foot into this 5-foot hole in front of him, like he's just really gently trying to fill this tunnel hole in. And then he turns to you like it was any day of the week. And
Not bad.
You're the one from the outside of village, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't appear. I am. You don't appear to have any blood on you, girl.
No, because I use a bow. I'm not stupid.
Megrakan, is startled by your forthrightness, and then he sort of weighs you up, and I see we have summoned our ancestors. Eka Bhozdhir is saved.
Yeah, it seems so.
Good.
I don't know. Galina and that old man, they did something strange, and then the ghost appeared, and it didn't go away.
I don't understand Dume, but he has his uses.
Listen, have you seen a guy called Comstock? But this tall, wears armor, bear shins. You'd recognize him.
Ah, the fellow warrior in arms, yes. And he turns to look to the kind of southwest of your position, and already pointing. He was fighting. And there's just an empty space where Megrakan is pointing to. That is strange. Perhaps his duel, carried on elsewhere.
Can I make a survival check for footprints?
Absolutely.
Because I feel like
investigation or survival, 100%.
With a very peculiar footprints. Normal. Ooh, that sucked. 9.
Frankie just doesn't care enough.
Do I have any advantages somewhere?
Sure, you're a brand new character, so you have inspiration.
There we go. Survival again. Come on. Yes,
Hey.
26.
Oh, now we're talking.
That's better. Okay. Frinka, as you take a look down, you can see that the area that Megrakan is kind of roughly pointing to, there is a lot of disturbance in the ground, where it seemed like, and as you kind of look at how the ground has been impacted, how the dirt and kind of how the dirt's been kind of moved through, you're able to paint a picture of what transpired.
A duel.
And it tells a picture of a duel between two heavily armored folks, unlike any of the footprints of the Wolfkin around here. And you can tell that it was a duel of combat as well as sort of like wits. Because there seems to be sort of like long periods of stillness and then an explosion of movement and then more stillness. But the telltale signs are that one of them hit the dirt with some force. And nearby there appears to be a very strange kind of sword stroke through the ground. Almost like the tip of a blade cut through the ground, like a pendulum. And
It would be a helmet as well, I imagine.
oh, beg your pardon. Sorry, there is also yes, next to where the large imprint on the ground is, you see the full helmet, the full visored helmet that you remember seeing Comstock's. The other, like the lady knight that came to visit Comstock that one time.
Lady Comstock, yes.
Her helmet with a heavy dent on the chin area appears to be on the floor.
And no
Or
tracks
is on.
leaving, I guess.
And there are no tracks leaving, so there's just like a big. You can see like footsteps coming in, and then like a big wah, and then no footsteps out.
So Frinka will go back to Galina. And give her the news.
Okay.
I think in the meantime, I've kind of... Galina was like initially seeing Milia almost as kind of agate and was trying to like mother her a bit and lecture her.
Yep.
But after a minute, I think she would realize that she's not like agate in this moment. She's reminding Galina more of herself at the worst time in her life when she just realized that she's fucked up in a way that is immense. And it's just kind of holding her.
Okay.
Galina!
Oh, you got him?
He's gone.
Like, dead?
No. He disappeared. He was fighting Lady Comstock. They had an argument. He was winning, though. I could tell from the footprints. And took off her helmet.
No way.
And then, yeah, I tell you. And then they're gone. They disappear, like vanish, like teleport or something like that.
I always thought she'd absolutely crush him. That's amazing.
You know what? I thought too.
She has this sword. I've seen her used a couple of times. She it seems to have some kind of, I don't know. It seems to align to the ley lines in a way that it slices through reality.
Oh, that's what they did.
So, I guess she must have teleported out. Maybe he ran after her. Do you see which way he went?
No. So they teleported out. Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah, maybe they had a date or something, you know.
I mean, it's not impossible. Yes. Oh. We have to get to Adi and Victor.
Milia, are you okay? Can you walk, or do you want to come with?
She doesn't. It takes her a few seconds to kind of acknowledge and respond to you, but she looks up with this, like her face is racked with sadness and guilt, but she looks a bit. She also seems a bit numb at this moment in time, and she just very, very quietly whispers, "Yes, I will come."
Okay. Don't worry, we'll fix it, I'm sure.
As you kind of say this and you slowly help Milia to her feet, Kagekna heads over and begins apologizing to Milia. Apologizing for not being able to save her when she needed it. but Milia doesn't really seem to respond. The centaur looks to the rest of you and, where are you going now?
You can make it up to us by getting us there quick. We need to get to, do we have a name for the bit of the forest? For that glade? Dan?
You don't really... I mean, I guess the most you know is, like, Elmin had effectively referred to it as Coroloro's Glade.
Okay. Our friends are still in a glade not far from here. Can you take us?
Kagekna tilts her head. Dume clarifies. Oh, they mean the God's Grove, Kagekna. And Kagekna kind of stiffens slightly as she realizes, as you know, it's mentioned so publicly. But then, like, a look of realization spreads across the centaur's face, and one of you can ride on my back. We will get horses for the others.
Dibs.
Yeah, Kagekna and Dume and some of the defenders hurry to procure you some horses. And as they're going, Kagekna says to you, why are your friends at the God's Grove?
We found out why everyone's getting sick. There's this dragon sent. He's meddling with the magic here, and he wants to do something with a spirit there. Something terrible.
She looks to Dume. Dume nods. And yeah. Yes, they mean Coroloro, he affirms, and you see, you know, Kagekna chew, like, clamp down on her back teeth. Then we must ride that much faster, she says. You are equipped with 2 horses. 1, 2, 3. There are 4 horses, including. Tell you what's going out. There are 5 horses. 1, 2, 3. No, sorry. There are 4 horses, and Galena, you are plonked on Kagekna's back. So, Frinka,
Yes.
Unfortunately, you're forced to take your own horse, and a party of Milia, Galena, Frinka, Dume, and Megra Khan. You see him just sort of like he is found with, like, pails of water, just like pouring them over his head, and just like streaks of thick, viscous blood, like viscera, dripping off him. And as he looks up to you, very, what's happening? Where are we going? But yeah, soon the 6 of you are galloping across the plains towards back across the ford that Atrak stopped you at. As you arrive, you dismount and find Comstock underneath the great spanning branches of this huge tree in the middle of a circular glade, slightly raised up from the rest. As you glance around, you notice that Comstock appears to be holding the limp body of Addy, and off to the side you see the prone form of Horse the bear. You notice that the ground around Horse is stained with crimson, and the glade itself seems quiet.
Yeah, can you get me down?
Kagekna kneels to let you hop off Galena, and Comstock, you look up to see Milia, Galena, and Frinka arriving. What do you do?
As Comstock said, he's just looking up with his eyes, helmet's on the ground. His shield is some distance away with a streak of crimson up it, but he's just he just sort of looks for a moment and then just goes back into sort of quiet state as he's just sort of like laying there with just sort of Addy across him. He's just, clearly red-eyed as he's clearly been crying.
As the new arrivals look around, you see that this large tree that Comstock is crouched in the shade of, there appears to be, it's like a protrusion. This has been carved open, almost like a boil, if you will. And Galena, you sense that there is there are strong surges of magic kind of loitering around this area, which seems appropriate given that this is seemingly the home of a god, apparently. But that wound in the tree seems out of place.
Wow. More important things on my mind at the moment.
Comstock? Is she okay?
No.
But-
All right, move.
Please, Galena, do something, please.
And I'm just going to, because I'm out of magic, I'll be like, do me! And I'll start. Can I use my medicine check to see if she is fully dead?
Please roll me a medicine check.
12.
12. As you begin kind of administering medicinal help to Addy, it becomes abundantly clear why Comstock is cradling her head so. Because as you go to, turn her head, it just kind of rolls to the side too easily. But you also notice on the back of her neck is what appear to be vicious-looking burn marks, seemingly in the shape of a hand, a clawed hand.
Comstock reaches over, is like, Galena, we need magic. Magic.
I don't have any. I don't. Had to use everything.
Surely the rest of you do.
Addy.
The keeper is unresponsive. Her orange eyes are dull in luster.
You, old man, you got something. Come on.
Dume, you can't see his eyes for the black fabric that covers them. But you watch as his shoulders sink and she is gone. It has been too long.
I tried, Galena, I really did. I tried.
What happened?
Addy, I've got your book, Addy. I need to give it back to you.
It's not possible. Comstock, what happened?
It was a track. I was dueling with Carla, and she went to flee. I chased her through here, and I saw a track with Cororo, and he held Addy in one hand. And I went to save her, but it happened so quickly. And then he fled. Carla and Victor? He fled with Victor?
Yeah, where's Victor?
Victor?
He took
So
Victor.
he was chasing him?
I don't know. Everything. I arrived. He was acting strange.
Victor always acts strange.
Stranger than usual. He
What?
seemed to not.
In fact, would you say during my during my assessment of the body, Dan, did I see any burn marks that would be reminiscent of Victor's weapon?
On Addie's right shoulder, in the back. And as you, Frinker, as you kind of kneel down alongside Horse, the bear, who you knew to be Addie's faithful companion ever since, a few weeks into the journey, ever since that mountain pass. You notice that the bear is riddled with gunshot wounds and what appears to be a final, decisive, spine-severing stab to the back. Whoever did this knew exactly where to strike.
Frinker will take a moment to absorb that information and maybe mutter a silent prayer for Bear, or Horse the bear, and kneel by him.
Suck, this is very important. Did you see anyone else here? Who was here?
It was Victor, Carla after the fact, a track, and Coralora, and obviously Addie, and there was no one else here.
He's been shot, Comstock.
I don't understand how this is possible. It doesn't make sense.
I don't want
Addie's
to
gone?
believe that Victor could have done this.
He did it. He shot Horse.
Maybe a conversation for later, but he spoke of another. Never mentioned if maybe they were siblings, but Victor was acting weird when I arrived. Galena, believe me, I tried. I really tried. I did. I thought I had it.
It wasn't you. I'm sure you did what you could. If there's anyone I believe who'd do everything they could to save someone, it's you.
And yet here she is.
Oh, Addie.
Kagekna quietly approaches, and we will do what we can to help you return your lost companions to your home.
I think she might actually prefer to have been buried here. Would that
Does anyone know?
Would that be okay?
Do you know what keeper funeral rites are?
Have you haven't had a chance to read Addie's book yet, have you, Galena?
Not yet.
Okay. Kagekna kind of nods, and we would need to speak to Elmin to find out if we can inter her on these sacred grounds. But in the meantime, it is not safe for her here. We do not want to risk attracting the attention of scavengers.
No. Oh, poor Addie. She was always so nice.
How is it that the only one of us who wasn't broken is the only one who didn't make it through?
You, as you kind of muse this to yourself, you hear a horse whinny, and it appears that Milia has turned her horse round and is leaving the glade with some urgency.
Ilya?
She, like her horse, gently, like slowly gallops or jogs out of the glade.
I think it's a canter, Dan.
The canter's like a little happy dance. Yes, the horse
As long
canters.
as you're not dressed guitar, she's out.
Yes, the horse canters out of the glade with Milia atop it. And Kagekina kind of looks to the four of you and, well, the three of you, I should say, and I'll make sure she's fine. I'll make sure she's safe.
Please do.
And the centaur leaves to catch up with Milia. So, with everything that you've spoken of, what are you doing now?
I think Frinka will spend a while just sitting on the grass, just with her head down, staring at the grass.
Megra Khan takes a step forward. What do you intend on doing now? It would appear that your prey has escaped. You have lost friends and companions. But dwelling on it will not bring you resolution. So, what do you intend on doing about it?
Shut up! Shut up! I don't want to hear it!
Yeah, you might want to just give us a second, Megrakan.
The Pale Warrior looks to you, and he seems steely in his resolve. Your enemy may not be giving you the privilege of time.
Megrakan, be careful of your words. Otherwise, you may find yourself one of our enemies.
The Pale Warrior bristles slightly, and Dume kind of walks over to him and a bit more tact maybe next time, he says, as the old man leads Megrakan away. But as Megrakan is being led away, he kind of stops Dume and turns to look and, do not let yourselves falter. It would be more insulting to their legacy for you to do so. And then he carries on walking with the old shaman.
What are we going to do? I don't think we can do anything until we put this... until we fix this.
Well, after the village, I mean, Frankie, you're a mean shot with that bow. You could stick around with us for a bit?
Yeah, I'll stay.
He might be a dick, but he's right. We might not have much time.
I'm very aware.
You think losing that book was a bad thing?
What book?
The one Milia liked?
Oh no.
Oh,
Milia's book, that jeez.
I've let two
I
people
think
down today.
those demon things found her again in the scuffle, and she went down. She seems okay, but the book is gone.
So I've let her down as well. I did
She's
a
alive.
fantastic job today.
You did your best, Comstock. That's all we can ask.
You're only one man, Comstock.
But you have two shins, so, you know.
We all failed them. All we can do now is try and fix it, or try and at least make the best of what we've got now.
think first thing we should do is take her back to the village. Let's not leave her here yet, as they said. We can grieve. Then we can look. Track.
It's.
Well, before we leave, then I'd better. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I think I was going to say that maybe they load Addie onto a horse.
No, I'll carry her. Use the
Doesn't
horses.
feel right. Doesn't feel
Use the
right leaving
horses
horse
for
here,
horse.
but can't carry him.
The horses can drag horse.
I can maybe with some wood. I can make like a little stretcher that can be dragged. It take me
Or
only a few
perhaps-
minutes.
Maybe we just burn him, or I can bury him nearby. I can move the earth. It won't take long.
Frinka will get busy and start building like a
Frinka,
stretcher out of wood.
Frinka, don't use any of the wood from the big tree.
But it's super close.
It is sacred. Don't use it.
Sacred, whatever. Okay.
Runs off. Runs off further.
I mean, Frinka, you are very easily able to create a rudimentary sled, which with any of your kind of 50-foot ropes you're able to fashion into a harness to attach to one of the horses to. So you're not dragging the bear.
We're
along,
putting horse the bear on a horse and we're dragging Addie.
Yes, perfect. So you're able to kind of drag this bear along with some degree of kind of humility and respect, rather than literally dragging them across the ground.
Before we head off, though, I'd like to check out what's going on with the tree itself.
Sure. As you approach, the trunk of the tree is huge in size. It's easily like 35 foot in like diameter, 40 foot in diameter, and it looks more lustrous than kind of everything around it, but in the most to look at this kind of split wound, that's kind of this growth that's kind of hanging out the side of this trunk. There's one word that seemingly kind of comes to mind, like one idea, and it is like birthing sack. And it's that kind of uneasy feeling in your stomach that hits you, because whilst the tree is wooden, you notice that the inside of this space seems slick, oily. Doesn't seem like it belongs.
Does it look like it's... So the split, does that look like that's been something coming from inside it, or something cutting into it from the outside?
It appears, the way that the bark on the outside of this kind of wound is attacked, it appears like the bark itself is slightly scorched. In a similar manner, you realise to the back of Addie's neck, it's almost like something tore its way in.
Okay.
And whatever was inside it came out quite violently.
What do you guys think? Do you think Coralora was in here, or his
A, tr-
weird dead wife?
a track was holding I can only describe as a spectral fox. I think that was Coralora.
I thought world spirits were like massive.
From my own experience, yes, Storm Bear is immense. I heard of lightning serpents from yourself, again of immense size, but fundamentally, from my conversations with Addie, they are whatever they want to be.
I doubt he wanted to be grabbed by this bastard.
As you say that, it makes you think how this has come to be.
Mm.
Like how this series of events have happened. How, like Comstock saying he was holding, the way that Comstock gestures, he was just holding it like a hunter holding a hunted game bird. And it makes you take a, well, you ponder for a moment how Atrak was able to engineer this.
I don't know that much about nature and divine magic, so I would either ask Addy or Milia.
Maybe
He's
Eddie
done.
wrote something about it in her book.
Don't feel right really looking through it, but you're right, there might be something useful.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, I'll start flicking through Addy's journal.
Sure. Well, tell you what, as you around about this time, Frinka has kind of finished constructing the sled. You're able to, as you begin kind of mounting up and kind of attaching this, like you get Addy on the back of a. Let me think.
I was going to think Comstock would attempt to carry Addy.
all 7 foot of her.
Shit, she is big, isn't she?
Oh, Kagekna might be able to carry her, either on her back or in her massive strong centaur arms.
Yes. Well,
Or I could carry her.
Oh, absolutely. Well, between the group of you, you're able to secure Addy across the back of one of the horses, or Kagekna. If you're happy for, like, Kagekna is well, it'll be across one of the back of the horses because Kagekna's outside. But as you all kind of prepare to head back, Galena, you're on horse. Are you sharing horseback with someone? Comstock, perhaps?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I've ridden with Comstock before, so.
Sure. So that with Comstock at the reins, it allows you some time to read this this diary. But as the 3 of you kind of leave the glade, and you find, like, as you emerge, you find Dume, Megrakan kind of stood in one group. You see Milia with her head low talking to Kagekna. And Milia's face, you can see that her eyes are bloodshot red. And as you approach and she sees Addy slung over the back of one of the horses, like Frinka's horse, and then the horse, the bear, on the sled, like on the back of Comstock's sled, Milia just lets out a choked wail and then starts sobbing inconsolably. Kagekna looks over to you all with this, like, weary look, as if to say, I don't know what to do. And then approaches you, and she is not well. And at a loss for words, Kagekna carries on past you. Do you require an escort to your village?
I think we should be okay. I think your people will need you at the moment.
Deal with your own dead.
Kagekna nods. When the time comes, when you need to do what needs to be done, you have the support of Eka Bhozdhir. It is the least that we could do.
Please send us word if we are allowed to inter her here.
She nods.
I believe I believe it was this dragon sent Atrak is his name. He was behind the sickness of your people. Now that he's left, they may start to recover. I don't know. Please, if there's any change, let me know.
Kiget kind of nods. Hopefully, it won't be long before we hear from one another again.
And well, maybe we can help each other get some payback.
There's a mix of like a frown and a smile, like a stern frown and a smile as Kiket kind of nods. And as she looks at the three of you, the four of you, including Milia, well, the three of you, she says, "Live well, die strong." And she kind of places a fist to her breastbone, to her sternum, and with a look to Dume and Megrakan, who nod in your direction as they turn to leave back towards Eka Bhozdhir. And as you begin making your way back to New Prosper, Galena, you have a chance to look through kind of Addy's diary. It is filled with little anecdotes of conversations she's overheard between your group, like the five of you, between the townsfolk. She wrote down a joke that she overheard Davin telling Haladradis. It would seem that Haladradis didn't get it. Perhaps Davin's delivery wasn't quite on point. There are drawings of landmarks that you yourself have seen in your weeks together. The rocks floating around the mountain, the scooped out mountain, a recollected drawing of the spires of the Hydraean temple. What appears to be a set of circular standing stones. That one you haven't seen. A sketch of the keeper in Eka Bhozdhir. You find one page of a field filled with star-shaped lilies, and diary entries talking about the piece that she found when she would sneak away from the camp without Comstock knowing. And it's this place that she was able to gather her feelings and reflect on everything that's been happening. This star lily field was her favourite place.
So I'm sort of trying to copy everything across from the journal as much as I can, get it into some sort of order, getting annoyed that I'm like trying to make sure that my tears are staying off the notepad and stuff. And well, I think we found where to take her, and I'll show Comstock the drawing of the lily field.
Okay.
Franca,
Yes?
on your hunts, have you ever seen a field with lilies like this?
Yeah, I know where that is.
It lies approximately half a mile northwest of New Prosper.
Maybe we should take a detour. I think this is where we need to take Addy.
Great.
Okay.
Should we go by the village first and then take her there?
Don't know how long I want to cart the poor girl around for.
I think this might be an us thing. We can let the villagers know where we settled her. They can come pay their respects.
Okay.
Okay.
Amelia, do you think you can manage?
Milia looks to you with red eyes. Lips quivering, and she kind of looks down to her horse and just silently, gently nods.
I want to make sure I get this right. Do we know if keepers inter their dead or burn them?
I don't know. I think only Elmin would know, and he wasn't in a great state last time. Let me check my books.
Thank you.
I'll have a look through my sort of generalized diary and see whether I've got anything at all on keeper funerary rites or any details.
The only kind of notes that you find on it refer to how keepers tend to swaddle their dead in like scented fabrics and then bury them, thus returning them to elsewhere.
That makes sense.
Only got some notes. I'm sure I've probably got this in a book somewhere, but
It makes sense, though. Their connection to elsewhere is stronger than the rest of us.
and well, I think she never seemed to really fully have fit in. Don't know if she'd want to be 100% buried like every other keeper anyway.
I agree. She'll be wrapped in the arms of an extremely powerful creature.
We'll bury her as Addie.
Agreed.
As you make your decisions, as you decide to swing past the field of star lilies, near, you realise that Frinket informs you that is fundamentally on the way home. As you take one look at the glade before turning around and making a start on your journey,
I'll have copied across everything that seems of any relevance whatsoever from Addie's journal, and then I'll probably bury it with her.
sure, we will grab a quick break.
See you in a bit.
Oof.
Bye.
Yeah.
Dearly beloved, thank you for gathering for this somber occasion as we mark the passing of Dryadia Oran. We guide her soul unto the afterlife, our grief immeasurable, as we prepare to move on without her. If you desire to commiserate with us, please make sure to subscribe to the Explorers of Elsewhere channel and hit the bell icon for notifications of new releases, such as new episodes of this or our other adventures, as well as our Baldur's Gate 3 co-op playthrough and live stream sit and chat. Please, subscribe. It's what Addie would have wanted. Hi,
Hi.
welcome back.
Hello, Dimdan.
It's us. We're here.
We're sad.
We're very sad. I don't know, Tim seems over it.
How dare you? I'm devastated. This is my morning popcorn.
Oh,
So, yes, we find our explorers on a hill near to New Prosper, approximately half a mile northwest. Upon seeing it, it is immediately clear why Addy felt so at ease in this place. Because upon ascending the overgrown kind of stone staircase on the southeast edge of the hill, upon reaching the plateau at the top and seeing what appeared to be a number of stone ruins engulfed by a sea of 4 and 5 petaled, star-shaped white lilies, there is a sense of serenity here. The air seems cleaner, the world seems calmer up here. And we find the 4 of you stood in front of 2 very recently dug graves. One for Addy, one for Bear, one for Horse. Comstock, as you look over the 2 mounds of earth in front of you, do you have any final words for Addy? A eulogy?
Firstly, Addy, I am sorry that I failed you. I'm sorry that you never got to achieve that which you set out to do. Though, if anything will bring you closer to a world spirit, imagine you're on your way to it now. I hope one day you may manifest as one, achieving your lifelong goal of understanding them, who are the best of us, who always brought cheer and laughter. Even though it may seem sometimes that I was angry at you, I wasn't. I enjoyed having friends. I wanted to be better. I hope you can forgive me, wherever you are, and watch down on me. I'll keep an eye out for you in the lightning. Rest well, Addy.
Galena, do you have any final words for Addy?
Yeah, I'll kind of inexpertly plant one of the star lilies over where she is. So yeah. Well, suppose you're just off on one more of your big adventures. Sure, you'll find a lot to write home about up there. But just know that you were here to find out about our world, but you changed our world for the better too. Always brought. You were someone who just wasn't filled with pain. Don't know if you knew how rare that was. I'll go and punch a fish for you sometime. I'll miss you. Anyone else want to say anything?
Yeah, Franco will step forward. Oh, Addy. You were so sweet, so kind, so pure. I would think about you so every time I go through a forest, every hill I climb, every mountain, every berry I pick. I will tell your story to all the animals I meet, because you were part of them. And you were part of us. And it will always be that way. And we will miss you, but you will always be with us.
Okay. As you take a step back, Funker, and all eyes turn to Milia, she steps forward and she kind of kneels down at the foot of Addy's grave.
Just put my hand on her shoulder.
I'm sorry that what has happened. I didn't mean for any of this to happen the way it did. Whatever happens in the village, we will remember you. I will remember you. And Milia kind of lowers her head. She begins kind of quietly shaking under your hand, Galena, and then she stands up to the rest of you, and yeah, steps away from the grave. Is there anything the four of you wish to do before heading back to New Prosper? Okay. With a final prayer to whichever gods you pray to, you turn and begin making your way down the overgrown stone stairway in the southeastern corner of the hill, and you begin making your way back to New Prosper. As you return to New Prosper, the atmosphere feels somber despite the surprisingly good day. The good weather around you. It is as if the townsfolk of New Prosper know that something has happened. And as you enter into the town boundaries, and word of your arrival begins spreading, Davin rushes over to the three of you. Oh, thank goodness you're back. You're back. How is everything? Oh, where are the others? Where's Milia just wanders straight past.
They are gone, David.
Oh, gone?
Davin.
Gone? What do you mean? Gone where? Have they found... Did you find something...
Davin,
Yes?
they are gone.
Well, we don't know where Victor is. But, Addy's dead.
The Laravar noble stands in front of you, and he kind of looks to you with a tilted head, and in that immediate moment, like, this bemused smile spreads across his face, and then his brow kind of furrows as he begins to realize that you're not pulling his leg. And he brings his hands to his mouth and, by the gods, I am blessed. What happened? Why? Oh, are you all right? Where? And he looks around and, Addy, Victor, what happened?
One thing at a time. But someone we called ally turned out to be working against us. A man named Atrak.
Davin looks and I try. Who? There's someone else out here apart from the. Is he one of the Wolfkin?
It'll take a long time to explain, Drap. I'll do it later. For now, can you give us peace?
He's a dragon scent. If you see him, if anyone sees a dragon scent, we have to know.
Davin nods.
And this is very important. If you see Victor, come and find one of us before you let him in, okay?
Yeah, you tell me right away. I will kill that son of a bitch. I will rip his mustache right off.
Like, Davin looks shocked. And of course. And you can see that he's never. This is a man in front of you who has seemingly never dealt with something like loss. He's never dealt with loss before. And he just seems confused. He doesn't know what to do with himself. And as he sort of like reaches out to almost like go to pat you on the shoulder, Comstock, in a there kind of way. But then he's pulling his hand back and he just and he stops, and if there's anything I can do, please let me know.
Would you tell the camp, Davin? You're good with words, and I don't want to go through that with everyone around here.
Davin takes a deep breath and, of course, yes, of course. Sure.
Do you mind giving us the town hall use for ourselves?
Oh, please, I'll speak to Knock and Bock, and we'll gather people together somewhere else so I can address them. Yes, I'll do that. Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, Davin heads off. So Frinka, Galena, you're given free reign of the town hall. You notice that in your absence, barrels have begun migrating into the town hall, seemingly to begin its transformation into what you suspect might be the sort of like tavern of the village, of the settlement.
Galena, any of these your famous rock shine?
Well, wouldn't you like to know? Of course they are. Hold on. I'll kind of get around the back where I've sort of stashed a tiny keg just to keep it out of general eyesight.
What is it?
I think we could use some. Oh, Frankie, you'll like this one.
As Galena, as you pour out 3 like shot glass, like cups worth, like it's a shot's amount in a cup, like in a flagon, and as you hand out the 3 to them, and Frinka, like you take a sniff of it and it smells like the inside of a giant hornet. You're able to.
Do I drink this or do I put it on my wounds?
Drink
Either
it.
or, really. But drinking it's more fun.
Have any of you been to Hugelstadt before?
No.
Barely
So-
been to this continent before it happened.
It's an interesting place. It started off as a castle on a hill, and then people came and the walls expanded, until eventually the whole hill was covered in a city, guarded by massive, supposedly indestructible walls. But there's this one road that leads from the castle down to the place that is called the Path of Heroes. And lined on either side are statues of great Hugelstatians past, and empty plinths as promises to heroes of the future. When I was a schoolboy, I walked that path hundreds of times. I memorized every statue, every hero. And I'd always stop in front of one of the empty plinths, and I'd say the name of the hero that would go there. Sir Kami Comstock. I called myself Kami when I was younger. I grew up quite quickly. But I always imagined myself. I always wanted to be. When I was old enough, I joined the military. And for years, I worked my way up. Till I eventually was beaten to a promotion by a plucky young woman called Cara Merlane. One of the finest knights I ever knew with a great weapon. But I always said it would be sword and board was the way. But anyway, times were good. And then the Battle of Hugelstadt happened. And after, the great world spirit saved us. And all the Hugelstadt army that was left, a handful. They were going to do nothing, but the people wanted something. They wanted us to be recognized. So the lords and ladies of Hugelstadt got together and they created a title, Knight of the Hill. And they would award everyone who was at that battle that title. A big ceremony. Brought us up on stage. Handed us the piece of paper that would make us knights. Some of us cried, some of us... We all thought it was something else. We were allowed to call ourselves Sir. So I became Sir Carmichael Comstock, Knight of the Hill. But then as time went on, we realized that respect. And the more you read the piece of paper, the more we realized what it actually meant. It said we were knights, but we were allowed to hold no holdings. We would have no coat of arms. There would be no noble standing or greater rank within the Hugelstadt military. Fundamentally, they shook our hand to thank us, patted us on the arse to move us on. One by one, the other Knights of the Hill gave up. Carla included. She left Hugelstadt soon thereafter, and just one by one, just the name Knight of the Hill meant nothing to anyone but me. Me. I left Hugelstadt as well, determined to make it mean more than just a piece of paper. Wanted to inspire the others, to make them see that we could be more. I was the last Knight of the Hill. And I'm no knight. I never have been. I'm just a man with a piece of paper which I even gave away. Handed it to Carla. Boasted that I was the knightly man I thought he was. Then Addie died. And the dream of the Knight on the Hill died with her. I'm just Carmichael Comstock. Just a man in a suit of armor, pretending to be a hero.
But you are a hero, Comstock. You're the hero of this town. You could become Knight of New Prosper. Doesn't sound as nice, but make do with what we can.
It's a nice dream. But I would never really be a knight. I don't think Navin has that authority. I will be what this town needs me to be. That is as much as I can be, but...
What about Protector of New Prosper? That's kind of nice.
I won't be naming myself that, as that is a bit presumptuous. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing, Carmi. We're all of us just people. A knight's just a bloke with a fancy title whose ancestors killed some people who owned some land. I'm just a woman. Frinka, as far as I know, also. And we just do what we can. And sometimes we make Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we can't always take back what happens. We can just pick ourselves up.
Galena, everyone else, extraordinary. The things I've seen you do are extraordinary. Even Milia, I know she doubts her abilities, but she's incredible. As was Adi, and as are you, Brinker.
Yeah, I know.
But modesty knows no bounds either. I don't have spells. I don't have the knowledge that you do. I was born in the poor quarter of Kugelstadt. I was never really anyone or anything. I'm surrounded by greatness. I wanted to be great. Don't ever think you are anything but extraordinary, Galena.
It's big words for the finest swordsman I've ever seen.
I do all right.
Anyway. It's not what we can do, it's what we do with it. I mean, I'm sure Atrak has some tricks up his sleeve, but that doesn't make him a better man than anyone here.
There is one thing that Atrak has that he didn't have before. And that is our ire. He will wear it like a lead weight. It will weigh him down for every decision and every movement he makes. And it will give us time to catch up with him.
He also has like one guy with a mustache, so maybe that will slow him down too.
I still need to figure out what happened to Victor and what is going on there. I can't believe he would harm Adi. He told me of a man named Yakov. I'm beginning to maybe believe might have been twins. The
Wait,
man
I
don't know.
I don't. But I cannot believe he'd betray us.
Well, we didn't trust him when he first turned up. What changed, except for him hanging around for longer?
You know, he used to spend a lot of time like out in the woods.
You knew him
But-
best, didn't you, Brinker?
Yeah, kinda. We used to hang out, go hunting. So he used to spend like a lot of time in the woods, like at night and during the day and everything. But like he wouldn't bring much. Like most of it was me. Like 90% of the food, it was me that got it, not him. He's a pretty lousy hunter, actually.
I always assumed he was just enjoying his faith. Like myself, I see the word spirit in thunder and lightning. That he saw it in nature. Maybe he just spent time out there because that's how he enjoyed his faith.
I don't know. He's a pretty sad man. He lost his wife and all.
Dan, can I go back through my notes
Mm-hmm.
and talking it through with Frinker, tally up between when we had reports from Eka Bhozdhir of their people being shot and when Victor was missing for long periods? Would I be able to have those dates, do you think?
So, from the notes that you've transcribed over from Addy's diary, the demon that was plaguing Eka Bhozdhir, like the outskirts of Eka Bhozdhir, has been around for some time, like ever since, like near the founding of Eka Bhozdhir.
And up about the same time that we did.
Well, so Eka Bhozdhir was established.
Oh no, it's
about
Eka
9 months.
Bhozdhir, right?
It was about 9 months. Is about 9 months old, and reports of the demon that could take take someone's life with the hole through the chest. that that started quite early on in Eka Bhozdhir's history, so seemingly much earlier than New Prosper for sure. Seemingly, well, definitely earlier than a lot of like the expedition.
Then again, Victor was out here before we got here. Yeah, I mean, do any of his long nighttime expeditions, do any of them sync up with any of the demon kills?
So you're unable to kind of correlate specific, because I mean Victor was out pretty much every night. Like you don't really know when that man slept. But
yeah, that's true.
There is a moment where you stop and you think for a moment, and you realize back to a time when your suspicions of Victor were much greater. And it was when you ended up at the ravine chasing the Chimera, and in a very non-flippant kind of way, Victor said, "Oh, I've been here before." And when he was challenged on it, he just kind of shrugged and off. And now that you've parked in here in New Prosper, it makes you think, like, sure, there are you found a Wolfkin encampment nearby, but like, why was Victor here? Why was he
was that all? That's why we were suspicious of him in the first place, because it was weird that he was just out here tracking some vaguely unnamed thing.
He mentioned that he'd been following the caravan from Varos, but he seemed to have intimate knowledge of an area in between Varos and what ended up being the location of New Prosper. So yeah, why? How? Is it just coincidence? But
he did say he was hunting a man.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's a twin or something. Or...
It only explained the confusion he had when I arrived, when I chased Carla. He even claimed not to know me, which...
Oh, evil twin. I get it now.
Could
So
be
maybe
evil
Victor's
twin.
a nice guy, but evil twin is bad.
Was he? I mean, was he wearing the same? Was he wearing Victor's normal stuff, or?
I have to say, Gillian, everything happened. My focus was predominantly on Addy and Jack.
Well, we'll figure Victor out whenever we find him, I guess.
Oh,
and just probably while we were sort of reminiscing and getting pretty drunk and talking about regrets and mistakes and death, I've probably taken the time to talk about what happened with Agate, which I haven't told anyone apart from Milia so far.
Well, with that in mind, then, Comstock, Frinker, what do you make of Galena's horrifying story?
Yeah, probably less detailed, but so none of us are heroes, Comstock.
I'm sorry, Galena.
As am I.
I hope she'll be okay.
It may not be the knight I claim to be, but my oath still stands. I will do what I can to get you home, Cat. And as for the crimes you seem to have committed, we're not in civilized country, are we?
Well,
This is an uncivilized land. If I can get you home,
get me home, and then I can pay for what I've done.
I'll speak for your character. Whatever you may have
should I be
done.
worried?
Galena, of all people, I should not be the one you're worried about. Like, I consider you a friend. You came to me first about Agat, and I appreciate that. I'll do everything I can to help you. I'm not really a knight and you're a war criminal. It's not really going to matter at the end.
Jeez, you guys suck.
Yeah. If you hang out with us much longer, Frankie, you're gonna. That is our main kind of thing. You got anything harrowing you'd like to
No.
relate?
No, apart from that creepy guy, Victor.
He is quite harrowing, actually.
It's okay. I still like you guys.
That is something, at least.
Well, doesn't matter who we are. Matters what we do. So, and there's one thing we can do, which is find that track and make him
Kill
pay
him.
for what he's done.
But, like, where is he?
I'll start working on it, see if I can. Maybe you can figure something out. Yeah, between us, you know a lot about like Victor's movements in this area. Maybe I can find some sort of magical nexus somewhere nearby. Maybe somewhere drawing power. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I can probably
Either
tackle
way,
it.
I can't find anything at the moment because I am off my arse. So
Could we track Carla?
maybe.
I mean, her helmet should... Excuse me. Her helmet should still be in Eka Bhozdhir. I knocked it the hell off. Smashed her in her stupid...
Yeah, it was a good fight, I saw it. I saw the tracks.
Pretty impressive, Franca.
As you kind of finish your drinks, and
Shit, those are strong stuff.
you finish your
I've watered it down. Come on, Comstock.
you finish your first few drinks, and like as you feel like the wooziness kind of set in as this high yield like arcane fuel runs its course through your bodies, before you know it, as you glance outside, day has given way to night, and as you kind of bid your, like, you realize that in fleeting memories, outside the town hall, a large group of people gathered, and you vaguely have memories of Davin addressing them to inform them of the passing of Dryadia Aran. You realize that these are conversations perhaps for the morning and clearer heads. That said, because Galena is full of bright ideas, is she going to head to her lab? I presume she sleeps in her lab.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't really have like a lab and a home as separate places.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna head on back.
Okay. In which case, as the three of you bottoms up with the last of Galena's rock shine,
I'll pour out a thimble of it for Addy as well.
sure. Your stomach's grumbling from the seeming lack of food, thanks to this strange blight. You begin making your way to your respective sleepy holes. In all of your night's sleep are plagued with dreams of futures that could have been, of events that could have been different, of circumstances that could have changed. All of them cut short by the snarling maw of the dragon scent Atrak. All of them cut short by the innocent face of Addy. As Galena, you wake up with a start. You have to. There's a pain as you have to peel your cheek off the side of your wooden bench, and you feel that there are indents of the wood grain on your cheek where you've clearly, and like there's a bit of parchment stuck to your lip where you've drooled on it, and it's become affixed slightly. And as you kind of sit up and look around at the collection of mana crystals that you've surrounded yourself with, and you struggle to think what on earth you were trying to figure out, like in your rock shine induced stupor, you notice that you've scribbled a note on your journal in front of you, with presumably your quiver and ink from the well that you've knocked over, and is now the ink now dry and staining the wood top. And as you look down at your note, your eyes open in shock and surprise. Comstock. You hear a knock at your... You hear a throat clear at your tent.
He pulls his eye patch from his good eye back to his bad eye. Oh, yes!
Actually, Frinka, what are you doing on this morning?
Up and early, making breakfast.
Okay. In which case, yeah, Comstock, as you hear this kind of knock, in inverted commas, this knock,
Rapping.
yes, from someone outside.
Chamber door.
The tent kind of flap opens up, and stood in front of you, like stood in the tent way. It's not a doorway.
Tent flap
way. There are 4 figures arrayed in front of you. Frinka is stood off to the left, holding what appears to be a relatively freshly cooked breakfast wrap. Like flat dough bread, very quickly seared on a campfire, just with presumably some wheat that hasn't spoiled. To the right are 2 diminutive figures.
Knock, Bok. What can I do for you?
Knock and Bok stood with what appear to be mining helmets upon their heads. One of them proudly holding what appears to be a blacksmithing hammer, and the other with a slingshot. And between them,
Hell yeah.
Davin, wearing an ornate breastplate, like half breastplate armor.
Daddy's armor.
I was having a think about what you said, about what you were all saying yesterday. I heard your stories through the window of the town hall after I broke the news about Triadia. And I've realised that you've all been so supportive of me ever since we left Varos. And now some of you are even calling me a leader. But I feel like if I don't help you with what happens today, I can't really call myself a leader. So I've spoken to Nock, Bok, and Frinka. We're going to join you. We're going to come with you and find Atrak and bring whatever sort of justice we can to him, make him pay for what he's done. And after it's all finished, we can come back here and carry on living the rest of our lives, knowing that we did this together. I don't know why I brought this, but I guess perhaps I thought maybe I would use it, but realistically I haven't got the first clue how to. It's a family heirloom. It was my mother's and her mother's and probably her mother's. But I think maybe you should have it, Comstock. And he produces what appears to be a long scabbard with a sword hilted in it.
Are you sure?
Well, I feel like if there's ever a chance to use it, now's probably the time, and I don't know how to use it. And Frinka doesn't look like she uses it, and I think it's a bit too big for Knock.
Yeah, I can. Give it to me.
As Frinka says that, you hear, what are you saying? And I
I'm
think
strong.
as
Kinda.
for an ancestral magical sword, I think it's best in the hands of my head of security. Wouldn't you agree?
I will take good care of it. Be
He
sure
nods.
to return it to you.
He nods, and in your inventory, you have a fencer's blade.
Ooh.
What do it? What do it?
As you receive this, you feel this sudden lurch in your gut, and you watch as Davin and Frinka and Knockenbach all sort of like buckle at the knees slightly, and like you feel a kind of lightheadedness, almost as if you just plunged underwater for a moment, and as you kind of look around wondering what's happened, you see Galena, you have felt this within your tent as well. And like almost as you've read the words on your page, the mana crystals show us. And you realize as you feel this lurch, your right hand almost like violently lifts up and yanks you into the side of the table. And all the rock and the mana crystals you've got arrayed on the desk slide a few inches in a northern direction. And you realize that your hand seems like something's tugging on your hand, like it's trying to pull you in a direction.
Oh, gee, you son of a bitch.
As you kind of step out, there's another yank, and like as you're running, your right hand kind of whips across you, and all you risk, like you have to pull your head back to avoid slapping yourself in the face, and you end up kind of pirouetting slightly as you regain control of your hand, and you see Davin, Frinka, Knockenbach wearing mining helmets for some reason, stood outside Comstock's tent, and you can see them sort of like holding on to things to steady themselves. You look around and you notice that some of the villagers who are up and about also, like one's fallen over, one was carrying a heavy crate of something, and just like that's strewn across the floor as this person's been tugged over. And something is summoning you. What do you do?
Is that just open to everyone?
So, what do you do, Galena?
I guess I'll scurry over to where the group is. I think it's him.
So
can feel it in my hand.
You mean you can feel it in your hand?
There's an intense concentration of magical energy. The crystals have been responding to it. And this is a crystal.
And can you lead us to him?
It can lead us to something. And if he's doing some kind of something intensely magical. Yeah, I think so.
Give me a moment to don my armor.
Okay.
Retrieve Milia.
Don't forget the shin pads.
Never needed them, still don't.
Okay, so Galena, if you head to Milia's tent, you find Milia sat on the edge of her bed, and as you enter, she kind of just looks up to you, almost as if she's been expecting you. And she looks to you with this kind of worried face, and she says, "It's him, isn't it?"
I think so. I think so. So what do you say we go and deal with him?
But what if I fail again and someone else? What if I've started another eschaton?
Well, we made it through the last one, didn't we?
Milia nods.
You haven't started anything, Mill. All you've done this whole time is do your best to protect everyone from something terrible. And if it was able to escape, wasn't your choice.
Milia looks a bit forlorn, and then she looks up to you and Urixala is my problem, but Atrak hurt my friends, and I cannot forgive him for that. And she takes a deep breath and she slowly stands and... Do we know the way?
I think so. Somewhere to the north. I think as I get closer, I'll be able to feel it more. It's affecting my hand.
Okay. So Milia nods and sort of like looks around, and you see her instinctively reach for the leather strapped backpack, and then she stops and realizes, and she looks to you, and like there's a bit of a lost look in her face, but then she like takes a deep breath and then just strides out of the tent past you, with a bit of pluck in her step. And Galena, as you kind of follow out after her, you see Comstock kind of like doing the final buckles on his armor as he's kind of he's caught in his cloak a little bit, and he manages to clear it out. And he seems to be holding a scabbard. He's got one scabbard on his waist. He's got another scabbard in his hand. You see him looking, and then he just starts unbuckling the one on his belt and sort of like handing.
Give him more credit than this, Dan.
Do you know how
He's got two swords. He has no idea how to function.
But you watch as the group of you begin gathering together into what is effectively a war party. So Galena, Comstock, Frinka, Milia, Davin, Nock, Bok. And as you kind of gather together, Galena, you're able to follow the feeling of like the periodic tug on your hand, and every time you feel that surge, all of you feel that kind of nauseous wave roll through you, like someone's grabbing the base of your spine and pulling out the front of your guts. Like it's an uncomfortable feeling that gets stronger and stronger as you go. Following the sensation, you find yourself heading north out of New Prosper.
And as we do that, I think I'll find Daffyd if he's around. See, Daffyd, get to Eka Bhozdhir. Tell him we're heading north.
Oh, right, yeah, absolutely. And you see him sort of like mount up on he rushes off, staggering a few times every time there's a surge, before finally getting himself up into a baying horse that seems panicked by what's happening. And like with a quick kick, he gets the horse to begin breaking into a gallop.
I have him my second command, but I really need to teach him about the hierarchy command here.
As you follow this sensation, Galena, like using your hand almost like a divining rod, you find yourself crossing through the forests at the wood at the north of New Prosper into the Saran lowlands. And the further you go, the more you realize you're heading basically towards Crystal Spine Forest. Back to that crystalline wood that you left only a few days ago. And as you kind of look at one another and the hand draws you further and further into the forest, you pass through the area where you were all attacked by the Tamari for the first time, until you find yourself, until your hand just seemingly stops being tugged, and you find yourself in the midst of the forest. And the feeling just stops.
I'm gonna kick in my tremor sense.
Okay. As you close your eyes and focus and you place your fingertips to the ground, you recognize that the ground beneath your feet is almost rumbling with something passing through it. And as you try and focus in on it, you realize you're feeling mana flowing through the ground beneath your feet in waves, to such a degree that the insubstantial magic is causing vibration, micro vibrations in the ground underneath you. And as you stand and look around, you notice that your right hand is glowing, similar to how the trees glowed in the presence of magic. Comstock and Frinker, what do you do?
Yeah.
Frinker's probably bored.
You seem focused. Is it here? Or is this just another breadcrumb on the trail?
I don't know. I've lost it.
Roll me an Arcana check, Galena.
Yeah.
With advantage.
Ooh. 22.
You say that. I've lost it. I don't know where it is. And then you stop and look around and you wonder why, of all places, you've stopped here. Like, this is a very, in inverted commas, it's an inconsequential part of the forest. And something doesn't feel right. But off the back of a 22 Arcana, you realise that your crystal hand that's been drawn, the magic that permeates this forest, is one of enchantment and illusion.
Ooh.
What do you do?
So, what are we doing here?
Well, good question. There's probably something here we can't see.
No, I can see everything.
You can't. You've got good eyes, but not that good.
Like
Thing
what?
illusory here.
Illusory.
Anyone who's interested can roll me an investigation check.
Investigation or perception?
Investigation.
Ooh, okay, let's go.
Frinka!
Oh!
So Frinka, as you turn in, no, I don't. I see everything. You stop and like you just kind of like shake your ponytail over your shoulder, and then you stop and turn your head to look to the right, because you realise that the light that streams through the canopy overhead of these crystal trees, it's not flowing, it's not projecting from the right direction. And as you look around, you notice there seems to be an area in front of you where the light, the rays of sunbeam, seem like they're refracted the wrong way.
It's always jarring when the artist gets the light source wrong on a scene.
Fring will go, yeah, so clearly the light is wrong. What about that? You can see it, right? It's clear. Everybody saw it. I saw it.
What?
Once this is pointed out, the two, like everyone in the group can now see it. The light's traveling diagonally in kind of one direction, apart from immediately in front of you, where it's mirrored.
Fascinating. I'm just gonna walk towards it with my crystal hand stretched out in front of me and keep walking and see if I hit anything.
You all watch as Galena takes a few steps forward with her hands out. There's a pensive few steps, then a few more. And then, Galena, as you worry, as that intrusive thought that you look a bit silly begins to formulate in your mind, your hand touches something solid in a space where nothing exists. As you pull your hand back in shock, you watch as your hand kind of glows brightly for a moment, and what you thought was a space filled with crystalline trees begins to change into a wall of blue and pink crystal, identical to that of your hand. And as you take a step back and keep looking up, this wall carries on stretching for like a good 100 feet plus in both directions. You realize as it stretches out to the left and right that it is seemingly almost curved in shape, and as you look up and it stretches taller and taller, it breaches through the canopy, the trees disappear, and the light streams directly through, hitting what appears to be this crystalline tower and reflecting back down on you in a different direction. And as the lot of you take a few steps back, you find yourself in the shadow of a 100-foot tall crystalline tower monolith made of jagged mana crystal, bordering, like, larger than some of the hills that surround New Prosper, jutting from the ground like a blade.
How did we miss this?
Evidence below, this is too much. This is too much.
As you take a look up, and like the illusion that's covering this tower begins to fade, begins to fully fade, revealing the majesty of this giant structure. You see in front of you lines of light beginning to form what is effectively a doorway. And as you kind of look to each other and wonder what on earth is happening, you wonder why. You wonder why there's violin sound. Is it coming from inside? And it's a song that you've never heard before. And as the 7 or so of you look to one another, you hear Knock kind of mumble, "Who the bloody hell's that?" And you turn to see a figure partially hidden by foliage of nearby crystalline trees. A figure in green and browns, long flowing blonde hair, eyes closed, lost in the song that the melody he plays on an ornate violin. As the figure opens his eyes and looks at you, as you blink, his form seems to be nothing more than a conglomeration of the foliage in front of you. And as you focus, you realize that there is a silhouette of someone stood where this stranger was. And as you peer at them to try and identify them, we'll call it there.
Spoilers.
Mysteries.
Wow. Dang. New group. Much better. Probably younger group as well. Got rid of all
That'd
that
be
Victor
hard
dead
not
weight.
to be.
All that Victor dead weight. Whew.
Mm.
She's got to get rid of Comstock now. We'll be a brand new group.
Only a matter of time.
Just have to wait a few years.
Dickhead.
Hey!
Congratulations, everyone, on completing episode 15.
Thank
Woo.
you.
Thanks.
It was a sad but a good episode.
Yeah.
Sad but good, yes.
Sad but good.
So, welcome to the team, Frinka.
You're welcome!
And who is this mystery newcomer? You have to watch the next episode to find out, ain't you?
Have to.
Yes, if you like what we're doing here and you would love to see more, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below on... I mean, I can't say who you think the figure is, right?
No, I mean, that's... Unfortunately, that could be anything.
Well, sure.
Or
I mean,
could it? Or is it someone we already know?
Yeah,
You know?
so comment down below on who you think the silhouette behind the stranger is. And if you want to see...
You can't just say Meg, that doesn't count.
Yeah, I was going to say you could also comment on how long you think Draven's going to last. Like,
Yes.
you know, how many rounds of combat before he dies.
Yes, we'll see how the NPCs get on. Yes, we do lots of stuff like this, and we release it very, 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 very regularly. So if you want to make sure you see more stuff like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new stuff. So, with all that said, thank you for playing. Thank you for watching
Thanks,
and or
Dan.
listening. And I will see you all next time.
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye,
Later.
everybody.